And we're continuing to track several fast-moving wildfires across the state. High temperatures, gusty winds, as well as low humidity are making conditions worse for those fires, especially as one fire in Ferry County has exploded again. That's the Moderate fire. That fire is now more than 40,000 acres burned with just 22% contained. It was 63% contained on Thursday. Level 1, 2, and 3 evacuation orders are in effect. This is south of Stranger Mountain on the Columbia River. FEMA also just authorized emergency funds to fight the flames. In Okanogan County, the Sinalahican fire has scorched more than 30,000 acres. That's near Tenasket. So far, there is no containment on that fire. Now, that's north of Blue Lake. Officials have declared a state of emergency in the area due to the dangerous weather. Level 3 evacuation orders, which mean go now, are in place for that area. Also in Okanogan County, the Kaiser Canyon fire showing its devastation as one of the top 10 largest fires in Washington state history over the last 50 years. It's burning in the Nespelem area at more than 134,000 acres burnt. Now it is at 30% contained, which is an improvement from earlier this week. Level 3 evacuation orders, though, are still in place specifically for Haley Creek area along State Route 155, Empire Creek, and Armstrong Meadows. Those fires impacting the eastern part of the state. Ilona, we have been dealing with those conditions on the eastern part. Thankfully, we're not feeling any of the effects of whether it's air quality or the smoke in the air here for Seafair weekend.
Yeah, not too bad for our air quality here this weekend. I can tell you I was in Leavenworth yesterday and it was smoky there. You can just see it hovering over the mountains and then lowering into those valleys. We do have air quality alerts posted for much of the central and eastern part of the state as a result of that. Unfortunately, the fire risk levels today are going to be extreme. In fact, the National Weather Service calling this today a particularly dangerous situation. The reason for that is that we've got that front that we've been talking about all morning long sliding through much of Washington state today, and that's really going to increase those winds, becoming quite gusty up to around 50 miles an hour today. And along with the dry conditions, that is not helpful for our firefighting efforts. We're going to keep those conditions elevated for the rest of the weekend and on into early next week. We do have red flag warnings that are going to go into effect officially at 11 o'clock this morning. We've already seen gusts closing in on 45 miles an hour at times in Ellensburg. You can see that red flag warning stretching all the way into eastern Washington with those gusts, as we talked about, closing in on around 50 miles an hour. Here's that air quality alert until further notice. We're really talking about the smoke in these areas just hovering and making for very unhealthy air quality. As far as that smoky forecast, we'll keep the areas of smoke to the eastern side of western Washington for now, east of the Cascades. However, by the time we get into around Monday, we do change those winds a little more northerly, so it is possible some of that smoke from the fires in British Columbia may filter into parts of western Washington. You may see a haze in the air. Air quality should remain relatively good, though, so we'll keep an eye on that. Here's a look at that live Doppler radar. So you can see that weak front that's been sliding through here, whipping up those winds. It is bringing some spotty showers along with it to parts of western Washington. A look at those forecasted winds, and you can see it is going to stay breezy well on into the evening hours. They will decrease and relax just a bit below that wind advisory criteria, but even into Sunday, we'll still look for those winds up around 20 to 25 miles an hour. That wind advisory is going to be in effect for around the same time period, around 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. tonight for those gusty conditions. A look at the futurecast will show those spotty showers possible for the remainder of today. Not looking for a super soaker at all of a day. And we got some possibility for a convergence zone settling into parts of Snohomish County. That may keep the rainfall chances going there a bit longer for today, drying things out for Sunday, especially by the time you get into those evening and afternoon hours. Your 7-day forecast will show drier skies to close out the weekend on Sunday. Temperatures still very comfortable in those low 70s, and then we're really going to warm things up next week. Wednesday being the warmest day of the stretch with highs in those mid 80s and dry skies all the way through the end of the week.